Everyone has their dream duo that they'd love to see in the next MCC. Two people that won't just bring good vibes, but raw power into the event. And with MCC 30, Smage has graced us with some of the greatest duos to have ever played. But who will come out on top? These are the best MCC duos ever. But before we begin, tell me in the comments section below which duo you'd love to see teamed together in an event, and it might be in a future video. Also, whilst you're down there, make sure to subscribe. It would truly mean the world to me if you did, as I tried to get to 5,000 subscribers. It's a crazy number, but I really want to hit it, so help me out if you can. Anyway, enough messing around. Let's start with the Red Rabbits, Rosenap. Starting with a huge one, we have Hannah and Sapnap that looks to be a formidable duo that could destroy the event as a whole. These two are some of the best PvPers in the tournament and will definitely showcase that when it comes to the big day. But a huge thing for me is how much they'll push each other. In Hannah's interview with CPK on the All Things MCC podcast, she talked about having a player that will push her to the top and she can push when they're having a bad game, and how that massively benefits her as a player. We've seen this with her and Sylvie in the last two events, who she has a huge bond with, a similar bond to the one Sapnap had with Dream when he was in the event, where they'd constantly be pushing each other to do better and better, which is a huge trust to have as friends and can come off as chaotic at times, as we saw them in MCC All-Stars Battle Box. But actually, when it comes down to it, it benefits not only the duo, but the team as a whole. And if Sapnap and Hannah can recreate this bond with each other and push themselves and their captains, then they could be unstoppable. The Orange Ocelots, S-Bomb 794-7. From the get-go, it's obvious to see that these are two of the best team players in the event, with them both doing phenomenally well time and time again, helping motivate and support their teams, which is honestly why it's perfect that they're together, because it could create a lot of synergy between them and help them out so much. H1 will be able to help SB get used to the changes in the event, since he's unfortunately not been in since MCC 23. And SB can help H-Bomb push Blushy and Sniffrish to their full potential, both being incredible players as well. A big thing for me is it feels like this duo has happened before, because they both teamed up with so many similar players. So whilst it hasn't been a requested duo up until now, it's one that just makes sense, and has a lot of people excited to watch. The Yellow Yaks, Purpled Frost. Look, the last two duos have been overpowered, but this is taking it to another level, as these are two of the best players in the tournament right now, joining together in what would seem an impossible team up before this event. These two have truly been pushing to be the very best, with so many top 5 performances between them both, it's hard to keep count. But what's most incredible is that really the best player they've both played with before has been Punz, and currently statistically they both outshine even him. So it'd be incredible to see how they match up to expectations and really take the event completely under control. It feels like they should be able to do this moving in the same circle, and each of them having a chaos duo that they work well with in Gumi and Velvet, which really should help them feel comfortable and take the pressure off. So it's about how they match up against each other and work on getting that glory that they've missed out on in so many events before, which they could finally definitely achieve together. The like and subscribe Llamas, Punz. In a team that's already extremely good, we find a duo that feels like it should have already happened before. Not only because their names sound amazing together, but also the thought of them together, as both of their stories match up so similarly. Both of them had tough events throughout Season 2, really having to help carry their team as high as possible, and whilst they both ended up with a win towards the end of the season, it was probably in events they think they could have done better in themselves. So with that being the case, Phil and Punz finally being together really could be a massive deal for both of them, not having to rely on their own skills to take their team to the top, but each other's as well. They've both shown in previous events they thrive off having someone to bounce off of, with Phil perhaps being the greatest secondary in the history of the event to Technoblade, and Punz really thriving in his 2 events with Illumina. And with that being the case, they really are in a great position now to fit those roles for each other, and when you've got Sam and Cubvan back you up, it's surely only going to go amazingly. The Green Geckos. Jojo the Hutt. These were the best 2 players in MCC 29, which is why it's hard to believe that Scots decided that apart they weren't powerful enough, cause together they certainly will be. These 2 honestly match the legacy left behind of Fruit Ninja and Dream and Technoblade as one of the most insane duos ever to be in the event, and one that would seem completely impossible to have, as they're both just so incredible and in recent events have shown themselves to be some of the very best. And yet some people still don't believe it, calling Jojo lucky or Pete past his prime. And even now, people are still downplaying just how good this duo is. Maybe that's because of Block Wars, but MCC is a completely different ballpark entirely. And one that these 2 have shown in the last canon event that they are the top players of. And with the fact they both can match each other, not only in skill but in leadership and maturity, they are just a completely insane duo who's ready to obliterate. The Cyan Coyotes. The Allium Duo. It's quite difficult to go from just how incredible Green is to the Cyan duo of choice in Ranboo and Tommy, but it's actually one I personally wanted to see for a long time, being in a previous duos we want to see in MCC video before. But actually seeing them together once again is honestly so awesome, with it only happening before in one event, MCC 16, which was Ranboo's second tournament, which probably contributed to the 9th place finish as a team, alongside Tommy's Chaos, which they'll definitely have to keep down in this event to make sure they do their best. It's honestly such great timing as they're both coming off top 5 performances, but whether or not they hit those heights again will be down to them. Luckily, however, they'll be joined by another duo in CP Sound. Yeah, we have 2 for 1 in this team, as we get another incredible duo in both CPK and the Orion Sound, who have also only played together once despite being great friends with each other, being in MCC 18, where they also came 9th, which is kinda crazy and proves that both these duos are desperate to change their fortunes from the last time around. Ollie's coming off a great tournament in Scuffed, where he came 2nd, and is also the curse breaker, while CPK is just a brilliant player that can always pop off. So this team could definitely be one to watch, despite no S tiers, cause they're insane. The Aqua Axolotls. Illumina up. Illumina returns to the tournament in Season 3, finally looking to get his first win since Season 1, which is just insane, and coming off his best performance in MCC 28, where he did amazingly, and perhaps in this event he could do better, as he's joined by the mastermind of 5UP, who is one of the greatest tacticians in the entire event, constantly coming up with big plays that leave others shocked. It's going to be huge for this time around, as he's had a few disappointments in recent events, and finally teaming up with the all-powerful Illumina just makes sense. They can both play off each other so well as bounce ideas for the event, which will truly make them an unstoppable force, which is why I'm excited to see how they do, because it could really work. Brains and strength are really key when it comes down to it, and these two bring that in bucket loads, so I'm sure we'll see fireworks. The Blue Bats. Fruitberries. Honestly, this team feels destined to do well, with Kratzy and Fruitberries both being absolute powerhouses in the event, doing great as of late. Kratzy has shown in Season 1 with Sapnap that he can adapt his skill level up to those he's playing with, and whilst Fruit's skill and strength lies somewhere different to Mr. Nap, it will be good to see him play alongside someone of a similar skill level, as honestly we haven't seen that since Illumina, which was a long time ago. So if our new 2-time champion can keep up with him, it's sure to be an amazing event for the two of them. The Purple Pandas. FireBreathMan +3. Yeah, honestly, this team doesn't really have a standout duo. I mean, Scott's statistically the best, and In the Little Wood really popped off in the last event. But it's going to be up to how they work as a team rather than as a duo. Which means we move on to the Pink Parrots. Shadtubi. Yeah, look, this team really doesn't have a best duo either, which is why it's very anticlimactic. Shadoon could do amazingly with both Tubbo, as I'm sure there'll be plenty of shenanigans, or with Sylvie, who is a superb player, always looking to get better. However, I'm going to more focus on Tubbo and Sylvie as a duo, backing it up and getting him used to the event. These two were superb back in MCC 18, an event where they were counted as the 3rd and 4th player in their team. But after so many excellent performances lately, they definitely deserve to shine once again and cause chaos as they do so, guiding Shadoon and the wonderful Ainsley, who also absolutely cannot be forgotten about, to victory. Or, you know, to as well as they can. But we've now reached the end of this extremely long and complicated video. It's a different style, so I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe. Thank you as always for watching, and of course, peace.